Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, all the talks we heard before were confirmed. Team USA is coming for everyone's throats. Just last week, USA Basketball has finalized and announced their 12-man roster for Paris 2024 Olympics. Guys, they've announced the final squad in April. Usually, like for example, before the 2016 or 2020 Olympics, these announcements would only come at the end of June, right before the Olympics. So this tells me a few things. First, they've got commitment from all their picks early, and second, those guys who were picked and announced were the priority. So let's take a look at the list of players who are going to represent Team USA in Paris 2024 Olympic Games. With the guards, you got the best shooter in the world, Steph Curry, the best playmaker right now, Tyrese Halliburton, a lethal scorer in Devin Booker, Jrue Holiday as a lockdown defender, and a two-way star who led the 2023 Team USA, Anthony Edwards. Honestly, I don't know how Steve Kerr, Eric Spoelstra, Tyronn Lue, and Mark Few are gonna split the minutes between those five. Now, with the forwards, you got probably the biggest names you could get, the GOAT himself, then one of the best scorers of all time, KD, who's been even more dangerous in FIBA, then probably the biggest young American star right now, Jason Tatum, and also Kawhi Leonard, who can work it on both ends of the floor. Next up, centers. That was the position lacking the most last year when they only had Jaren Jackson Jr. and Walker Kessler. Now they're fulfilling their full potential with Joel Embiid, who I don't really see being stopped by anyone, Anthony Davis, who with that no defensive 3-second rule will be an even better rim protector, and then you got Bam Adebayo, with who you can play a little bit of a smaller, quicker lineup. It's almost an overkill how many stars they're sending to Paris this year. And you know, I was reading all these names and it felt more like announcing who made the All-Star game this year. Well, in fact, 11 out of those 12 players were All-Stars this season, with just Jrue Holiday not being one, but actually even he was an All-Star last year. So basically a full team of All-Stars, the biggest American names you could think of, are all committed to the national team. The 2023 World Cup squad had 3 All-Stars, the 2020 Olympics squad had 5, and the 2019 World Cup team had only 2. What was their results in those 3 tournaments? 4th place in the 2023 World Cup, gold medals in Tokyo 2020, and 7th place in the 2019 World Cup. Okay, so what? Americans don't care about the World Cups, all they care about is Olympics. Yes, but even in the last Olympics, their squad was relatively young, missing many of the bigger names, and they even lost in the group stage to France. All these subpar results in recent years have only ignited more discussions about how internationals are taking over the NBA, and even questions whether the USA is still king of basketball. Now, seeing this very early commitment from all these stars is just telling me one thing: Team USA is ready to shut up all these haters. But before I move on and talk about why they're probably gonna be successful, a quick shout out to Hostinger. Hostinger provides not only hosting services, but also has a website builder that's powered by AI. Instead of spending hours learning to code or using unoriginal templates, you can just type in a text prompt and customize a website from scratch in minutes. Use our code BNews10 and get an additional 10% discount on all hosting plans. Alright, so on paper, all these names look unbeatable, but what do I actually think about their chances to win it all? As much as I would like to have hope for other teams in the Olympics, I think we're going to see Dream Team 3.0, 4.0, or whatever .0 that is going to sweep this tournament and bring gold medals back from Paris. I've already reacted to KD's statement where he said he wants to beat every team by 40-50 points, and my stance hasn't changed. I still think it's not 1992 and teams are just better. That being said, this was before the groups were announced and before I knew Team USA's roster. Now, do I think that this team is going to beat Serbia or the winner of the qualifier, which is most likely Lithuania or Italy, by 50? No, but I could imagine a 20 to 30 point difference for sure. South Sudan? Well, I think we can expect some record-breaking performance with 60 or 70 point margins. But that's not even it. Besides having 12 All-Stars, 4 NBA MVPs, and 6 NBA champions, there's another thing that's really a game changer when comparing to the previous Team USA teams. and that's FIBA experience. For the last decade or so, USA's roster often featured players who were debuting in FIBA basketball, and that has its effect. It takes time to adjust to a smaller court, no defensive 3-second rule, which automatically means there's less spacing. It also takes time to adjust to the fact that the refs will call travels, or the fact that you can swat the ball away from the rim. But almost all the players that were announced have played in FIBA tournaments. Durant is the most experienced of the bunch. He has won the 2010 World Cup gold, played in the last 3 Olympics, and also became Team USA's all-time Olympic statistical leader in scoring. LeBron James, who's making his return, will compete in his 4th games. He won gold in 2008 and 2012 and made his Olympics debut in 2004. And he also was in that bronze 2006 squad. Booker, Holiday, Tatum, and Adebayo were all part of the 2020 Tokyo team. Plus, Tatum played with the team that finished 7th in the 2019 World Cup, while Steph has had 2 appearances at the World Cup in 2014 and 2010. AD played in 2012 Olympics and 2014 World Cup, and finally Halliburton and Edwards both debuted in the 2023 World Cup. The only 2 guys who do not have any prior experience are Kawhi and Embiid. And that's not the only thing that these 2 have in common. Seeing how they're struggling with the injuries right now, I'm not sure if we're going to see them play in the Olympics. I would rather expect them both to take the summer off and focus on recovery for next season, but you'll never know. This might be a legendary team with a legendary run that might be remembered forever, and also both Embiid and Kawhi are both in their 30s, so this might be their last chance to win Olympic gold. If they do play though, I will be very interested to see Embiid potentially facing off with France at whatever stage of the tournament that happens. As you know, Joel had already promised to play for France in Paris, but in a quick turn of events changed his mind and committed to play for the US. What makes this even crazier, there is this letter from 2021. In that letter, Embiid formally asks France's president, Emmanuel Macron, to give him French citizenship and promises to play for the national team. I'll put the link to the whole letter in the description, but essentially Joel's words were all sweet and nice, and then he gets the citizenship, and then he just says, I'm gonna play for the US, which really made the French basketball community go crazy. If you remember Frederick Weiss, who's mostly known for getting dunked on by Vince Carter, he said Embiid's a dirty guy and he should get his French citizenship taken away from him. So yeah, if that game is going to happen, I'm first in line. Anyways guys, these were my thoughts on the initial 12-man roster that Team USA has announced, and I want to see your opinion in the comments below. Tell me if you think they're going to be dominant like I do, and also just hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one.